New York Giants fans, we are beyond the draft, and now it's time to settle in, start looking at the new additions to the team, looking at the free agents, looking at the draft picks, looking at the undrafted free agents, putting together the entire picture. But something's bothering me. I really do wonder what it is sometimes we want from our content creators. Do we want blind loyalty? Do we want people who question? Do we want people who just go with the flow? Do we want people who just say whatever that they want because they know it'll get a reaction? I'd like to discuss what I do, bring it to you, and let's talk about it. I'm Coach Gene Clemons, and I have a giant issue. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again. New York Giants on that side. That's where you get all your New York Giants news and information from. Welcome, welcome, welcome. A giant issue. I'm Coach Gene Clemons. I'm happy to be back. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be around. If you just saw that thing click, it's because I realized that I was mirrored and it was turning my thing backwards and it was really annoying me. So I had to switch that really quick. I want to talk a little bit about the draft and free agency and the Giants, and really give you guys an understanding of who I am and how I look at things. If you don't already know, or if you happen to be new here, let me just say first off, the live video that we did, the live podcast that we did on Sunday. Not Sunday, on Saturday. Really do appreciate it. Had over 1,000 people on at the live watching simultaneously. The problem was, it's not all 1,000 of them came from YouTube. Actually, 900 plus came from X. Not saying that it's a problem, because I love X, but also, you know me, I want to continue to build this YouTube channel. So if you know people over at X that watch a giant issue live when I do it and I post it to my X account, have them people come on over here to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, and let's keep it moving. As of currently, haven't found a way to monetize X, right? But every little bit helps over here to run something and do something regularly. That takes a lot of time. And although I love doing it, you know, we want to build something that eventually has enough legs to sustain itself and become regular with a staff that helps me to not have to do everything, right? That's fantastic. I wanted to talk about my process because I found it interesting during these times of how content creators will go about their business. And I don't claim to be the best in the business. I just think that what I do is genuine. But I want to tell you why I think that what I do is genuine. I said a couple of weeks before the draft that there were going to be a lot of Giants content creators that were going to be praying that Shedeur Sanders failed. And I got backlash. We talked about it. I did a whole pod on it. Big Moo told me that, hey, man, 5 minutes on that. So I promise you, this is not the entire thing. But I got a lot of backlash from people who said, man, ain't nobody rooting for him to fail. If he's a Giants quarterback, then we'll root for him. But he's just not our pick. Cool, right? So why is it that I saw more people posting about Shedeur Sanders and talking about Shedeur Sanders falling than I did about people talking about Jackson Dart's ascent. And again, this has nothing to do with Shedeur Sanders, has nothing to do with Jackson Dart. This has to do with the people who are creating content. I saw people taking victory laps as Shedeur Sanders went from being a presumed top 5 pick to a he should go in the first round, we don't know, to a he'll definitely go day 2, to a 5th round pick. I watched as Giants content creators were dancing and posting memes and making slide comments and it got me to thinking like, oh, I was right. A lot of this has to do with people wanting to take a victory lap when they believe they're right. And here's the funny part about it. The fact that Shedeur Sanders went in the 5th round and that Jackson Dart went in the first round doesn't mean that the people who didn't think Shedeur Sanders was a first round talent they're right. It doesn't mean that I, who believe that Shedeur Sanders was a first round talent, is wrong. No games have been played. These are all just opinions, right? And we haven't had a chance to have our opinion proven right. Hey, guess what? I thought Russell Wilson was a first round talent when he came out of Wisconsin. He did not go in the first round. He proved to be a first round talent. Am I right or am I wrong? Right? The person who doesn't want to give me credit would say, no, you're wrong. He was a 3rd round talent and then he got to the league and got better, right? That's the type of BS that they try to tell us about Lamar Jackson. Oh, no, he just improved. Yeah, this Heisman Trophy winning quarterback in college with no players on his team that played in the league, or maybe one player that played in the league. He got to the league with better players, and then he elevated his game, and that's why he's who he is. Right. Just say you missed. Just say you were wrong, right? Because even Baltimore was wrong. They took a tight end before him. I digress. The issues that I have with creating content is that I want to be in service of the people. I want to give you something tangible, something you can hold on, right? But in order to do that, it means that sometimes we're not going to see eye to eye. It means that sometimes we're not going to agree, right? And it should be okay, because I don't want to be a hope merchant, right? I don't want to play on your emotions just to allow you to hear what you want to hear. I don't want to love bomb you. I want the love to be legit, right? I want the love to be real. When I saw the Jackson Dart, when I saw the Jackson Dart was picked, it's not hate. I just didn't think he was that dude. But if he ends up being that dude, I'm 100% okay with saying, hey, I was wrong. He's really that dude. I thought the fact that they had Tommy DeVito out there, right? And they decided to start Tommy DeVito when Tyrod Taylor was healthy. I believe that cost them a playoff berth that year. I believe that them staying with Tommy DeVito in that time may have cost them a playoff berth. Now, I might be exaggerating. Cool, whatever. I just didn't understand a world where you saw Tyrod Taylor playing and you saw Tommy DeVito playing and you said, nah, put Tommy DeVito back out there. But they did it, right? And Tommy DeVito was having a little success. And so I had to come on like I had to come and write, hey, Tommy DeVito's playing well, right? I wasn't just saying it to try to make people who were Tommy DeVito'd out happy. I was saying it because he was playing well. But then Tommy DeVito started playing like Tommy DeVito, and they had to get Tyrod Taylor back in the game. I didn't all of a sudden then take a victory lap and go, ding dong, the witch is dead with your witch, right? Like I didn't say, oh, it's the downfall of Tommy DeVito. No, I just said, hey, Tyrod Taylor's back out there. He's balling. And I was just, it was interesting to watch as I was proven correctly as people were dancing on the grave of Shedeur Sanders and he hasn't been buried yet. Right? Then I saw an interesting tweet by somebody I don't even follow. Mike Forcella, right? Mike Forcella. I don't know how it came across my timeline on X because I don't follow him. He doesn't follow me, but he talks about the Giants. So anything Giants is going to probably hit my algorithm, right? He said there is a 10 out of 10 chance your favorite Giants content creator did not like or want Jackson Dart until 4 days ago. And he's 100% right. I did not like, nor did I want Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders. I never hated Jackson Dart. I still don't hate Jackson Dart. I just don't think he's better than Shedeur Sanders. So he's right. Except for I don't all of a sudden now go, oh my gosh, he's going to be the greatest. Joe Shane, he knocked it out the park. I'm watching people do the victory lap for Joe Shane. Oh my gosh, Joe Shane murdered. He killed this draft. How can I say that he killed the draft when I don't think he took the right quarterback? That doesn't make any sense. Does it mean that I want him to fail? No. I'm hoping that I'm wrong. And why do I hope I'm wrong? I've told you guys this all the time. If I'm wrong, that means that you found your franchise quarterback, and now the business of building a team around a guy on the rookie contract, that's where it gets fun. Right? When you get to build a team around the guy on a rookie contract, the quarterback on the rookie deal, that's the move. So if he's the guy, then that means you get 4 years of affordable quarterback before you have to pay him so much that it's probably going to dive bomb your team. Right? But I can't sit here and lie to you and be like, oh my gosh, I think that Jackson Dart's going to be a top 15 quarterback. Over who? Right? Like I can't do that. That's not. So I said, hey, I think he's going to be somewhere in the back half of starting quarterbacks. If he's better, I'm okay with being wrong. I just don't see it. Like I don't see it. And I resent when people say, "Oh, well, you didn't watch the film," because again, I've told you guys, nobody watches film more than I do. Nobody does. Not any of the dudes. Your favorite film watcher, line them up. Right? I just feel the way I feel. We can both watch the same film and come away with different ideas about it. So for me, my issue with Jackson Dart as a quarterback is that I don't think he brings any elevation to the table. Right? It's stuff that's probably more qualitative data than it is quantitative data. What do I mean? For those who don't know, quantitative data is stuff that you can measure. Qualitative data are things that you can feel, but you might not see on the page. It's why Pro Football Focus makes me so upset, because the people who are taking these statistics, they don't understand nuance. To them, a target is just a target, is a target, right? So Malik Neighbors might have 160 targets, but what if only 100 of them were catchable balls? They don't make that distinction. They just tell you 160 targets. And now you're going, well, he's only catching 75 out of 160 targets. He's not good. That's 40 something percent catch percentage. No, it's not. Because only 100 of them were good. That's a 75% catch percentage. But if nobody's taking that data, right? If no one's taking that data, or if they are taking that data and the person who's doing it doesn't actually know what an on-target throw is, or doesn't account for the other things that are going on in the game, like the defensive back and the wind and blah, 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 then how do they know what is and is not a good target or a bad target? Those are my problems. I look at things a lot more qualitatively, and qualitatively, here's what I know. Ole Miss, right before Jackson Dart got there, was a team on the brink. They were a team that had a chance to possibly compete for an SEC title, right? But they don't. They don't win it. And what did they do while Jackson Dart was there? While Jackson Dart was there, they were a team that was on the brink of winning an SEC title, but they don't. Right? They were 10-3 in Jackson Dart's final season. 10-3. They were 11-2 the year before that. Right? They were 8-5 the year before that. Right? Those were Jackson Dart's 3 seasons. That was when Luke Altmaier was at Ole Miss stinking it up, right? Jackson Dart was really ordinary that first year he was there as a starter, right? The year before that, you want to know what they were? They were 10-3. That was with Matt Corral. They were 10-3. So they had already ascended to a 10-win team before Jackson Dart got there. He got there, they dropped back, and then ascended back to a 10-win team. He didn't elevate anything. They got no closer. He didn't elevate. They just got where they were. Juice Wells transferred in from South Carolina with no quarterback to come to play with Jackson Dart, and had a worse season and went from being a guy who would have probably been either a late day 2, early day 3 pick as a wide receiver to an undrafted free agent. That was with Jackson Dart. Who elevated with Jackson Dart? Now go look at Shedeur Sanders and what he did. I don't have to go into it anymore. There was an elevation that happened. He went to 2 different places, and those places were significantly better with him than without him. And before you guys try to tell me, oh, well, that's because Coach Prime put all of these really great players in front of him. The Colorado Buffaloes had 4 people drafted. Shedeur Sanders and his 3 wide receivers. Only one of them was a draft pick before he came to Colorado. And that was Travis Hunter. Jimmy Horn Jr. was not a draft pick before he came to Colorado. When he was at South, if he would have stayed at South Florida, he would have never been drafted. LeJontay Wester was not a draft pick before he came to Colorado, and he broke records at Florida Atlantic. But he was not a prospect until he came and played with Shedeur Sanders, who elevated their games, elevated Travis Hunter's game. So that, to me, that was the difference. I had to take it off of athletic ability, because We're only talking subjective, right? We don't know how fast Jackson Dart really is. We don't know how fast Shedeur Sanders really is. We know that Jackson Dart uses his athleticism to run the ball more than Shedeur Sanders does. We also know that Shedeur Sanders had no real rushing statistics because he took a lot of sacks. And why did he take a lot of sacks? Because he holds the ball too long and, right, because that's the type of offense they run, right? He holds the ball too long. They don't really have play action because they don't run the football. So they've got nobody to stop the pass rushers. And the offensive line is bad. Notice I use the offensive line being bad as the third one. So my question becomes, do you want me to just sit here and tell you, oh, Jackson Dart is going to be the greatest quarterback in the history of the game just because? Or do you want me to be honest and tell you, I don't know how this is going to go? I don't know if he's going to be an elevator, but I'm excited to find out. I don't know if he is the man, but I'm excited to find out. And I am 1000% open to being wrong. And if I am wrong, I'll just say, hey, I was wrong. I didn't have this right. He's the man. And if I'm right, I'm not going to come on here and start dancing all over Jackson Dart's grave like people were doing to Shedeur Sanders. I'm just going to say, man, I was hoping that I was wrong, but I'm not. And then we're going to get back to the business of the people who keep picking the wrong picks. But I'm hoping that I'm not. I'm hoping that I'm not right. I'm hoping that Jackson Dart has another level to his game that I have not seen yet. Right? I'm hoping that he has another level that I haven't seen yet. Another level that takes him to where he is overcoming whatever might be in front of him that's not equal. Right? I hope that that's the case. But you have to decide what you want me to do, because I don't want to be the guy who just says, yes, yes, Joe Shane, just because. I want to be the person that gives him his flowers when he really deserves them. A lot of people are still out here talking about how great the last draft was. And so far, the only thing great from the last draft is Malik Neighbors. That's it. Drew Phillips, physical, aggressive, young corner, has problems in coverage downfield. Theo Johnson, question mark. Tyler Nubin, can he play in the third level? I haven't seen it yet. We'll see. Right? Tyrone Tracy, you guys are excited about Cam Scatterbo. And if you're excited about Cam Scatterbo and wondering how they can get him involved and give him carries, you can't be that. It can't be a slam dunk with Tyrone Tracy. That's not how it works. Now, I think both of them in tandem can be really good. But again, when I look at Cam Scatterbo, he was not my first choice as the big back to come pair with Tyrone Tracy. Ollie Gordon was still on the board. Damian Martinez was still on the board. Right? Big backs who don't have as much wear and tear on their body as he does, who have not carried the ball as much as he has, but who have had really, really good success in college and who are big. Raheem Sanders, Rocket Sanders, was still on the board. It's not that I don't like Cam Scatterbo. I do. I just thought that there were other big back options that they could have taken who would have fit that Thunder and Lightning mold more traditionally. That's it. The Giants didn't take a wide receiver in this draft. How? This draft was littered with wide receiver 2s and wide receiver 3s, legit ones that had upside that could turn into wide receiver 1s and wide receiver 2s. And they didn't take one of them. They had big body, athletic, speed, quick, small, agility. They had every type of receiver that you could have thought about, and they didn't take one receiver. How is this a slam dunk draft? They took a guy at guard who I love, right? Who's probably not going to play guard, who's going to play tackle, possibly, but whose best position is guard because his arms aren't that long. The same thing that people got on Will Campbell about is the same thing that you could talk about Embo on, right? He's athletic, yes. He's also not the biggest dude. He's big enough, but he's not the biggest dude. So, like, I like the thought process of training him as a tackle with the idea that maybe in the future he moves down to guard. But right now, he's not helping. I saw some people put him in a starting lineup. Who's he beating out? If we're having real legitimate competitions, who's he beating out? He's a developmental piece that could be ready to go if somebody goes down. I still really like Gray Zabel. Not Gray Zabel, excuse me. I still and his name just came out of my head because now I'm only thinking about Gray Zabel, but it'll come back to me. I like the other guard from North Dakota State that the Giants have. I think that he is heading towards starting a starting guard. You don't have to agree. It's okay. I like Evans Alexander. I also think that there were other defensive tackles that they could have taken when they took Cam Scatterbo. I'm sorry, not Cam Scatterbo. There were other defensive tackles that they could have taken if they had had their picks to be able to take them that they didn't trade. Now I get it. It's cool. So do you want me to just say, like everybody else is saying, oh, the Giants, we give them an A. The Giants, they killed it. The Giants, they knocked it out the park. Do you want me to just say that because that's what everybody else is saying? Or do you want me to give you my legitimate opinion? This draft class seems like it could be really good, but there are ifs with almost every single pick in this draft class. There are ifs with almost every single pick in this draft class. Calling Abdul-Carter the best player in this draft when Travis Hunter exists is lunacy. I'm sorry. Calling him a generational talent when Travis Hunter is the generational talent is crazy. That's crazy to me. In order for him to live up to your expectations, he has to be a double-digit per year sack guy. Nonstop. He has to be TJ Watt. He has to be TJ Watt in order for you guys, in order for him to live up to the hype that he's getting. He has to be TJ Watt. Nobody said that about Kayvon Thibodeau. Nobody called him a generational talent. Nobody said that he was going to be as good as he's the next LT. Nobody said that stuff. I've heard that out of people's mouths. And now the pressure is on, right? Jackson Dart is being compared to Josh Allen. He's being compared to Josh Allen. Hey, this is the type of quarterback. This is the type of quarterback that Brian Daboll likes. that he can work with. I'm sorry, I thought he was a quarterback guru. Now we're finding out he can only work with one type of quarterback, except he had that type of quarterback. He had a tall, athletic quarterback with a good arm. He had him. He didn't do anything with him. The first year was the best year with him, and that year was not the greatest. So we'll see. But you have to tell me what you want from me, because if you want me to be honest, then that's what I'm doing. I'm giving you honesty. If you want me to just run the company line, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. The Giants don't pay me. I'm not here to just promote. I'm not here to just promote the stuff that I'm not sure about and just say it's positive when it's not positive. I want to be able to genuinely speak positively about the Giants. I'm looking forward to getting to rookie minicamp so I can see these kids or these young men in person. I want to be able to put my eyes on them in person. I want to see them move. I want to come back and tell you about it. Right? I want to tell you the positive things that I see. That's what I want to do. I don't have to force it. And if I say, hey, it's questions about this draft class right now, and then a year from now, it's undeniable, am I not allowed to just say, yo, it's undeniable. This was a really great draft class. You think I care that y'all are going to come back to me and say, yeah, you didn't like it when it was first there? And then I'm going to have to remind you, no, I never said I didn't like it. I said that there were questions. And now those questions have been answered. It's okay for us to change to see new things happen, right? And go, I was wrong. That's it. Don't say, oh, something changed about them when they got to this level. Because that's what they do. That's what they do with quarterbacks all the time when they don't look like Peyton Manning. They'll go, oh, well, he got to the league and he improved so much. He changed a lot. Nope. I was wrong, and I'm willing to admit it. The question is, are you? Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time I have today. New York Giants on SI. Make sure you go over there, get all your New York Giants news and information. I've been talking about all the draft picks. I'm starting to pop out articles on all the undrafted free agents, right? It's going to be a great time. Y'all know how we do over there once we get into the summertime. You're going to get the write-ups on everybody. You're going to get the background information. You're going to get the videos, et cetera, et cetera. Make sure you come over here to the New York Giants on SI and hit that subscribe button. Hit it, hit the bell. Don't hit it multiple times because that might unsubscribe you, I guess. But hit the subscribe, stay subscribed. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers before game one. Before week one of the regular season, we want to be at 5,000 subscribers. That means that right now we're 2,421 subscribers short. Just a couple. 2,421 subscribers short. I know we can get there together. Thank you to everybody that's been hanging out. Until next time, I'm Coach Gene Clemons, and I have a giant issue.